Hi there, everybody, and welcome to day 5. We're going to talk to our self-portraits today, or more accurately, listen to them. You might think you're already done with your self-portrait, but you aren't. The most important part is today, and this is when it whispers secrets about ourselves to us, because our subconscious talks to us through our art. And by creating these self-portraits, we learn about ourselves, and that is what excites me. Now, at this point, I'm imagining that all of our self-portraits look different, and that is exciting to me too. I think it's really marvelous that you all have listened to your own intuition and found ways to express yourself through paint. You may have borrowed some of my techniques or images, something like that, but that's fine. It's still an expression of you. Sometimes people worry about this, but I just want to assure you that as you continue to paint miles and miles of canvas, you will find your own style in your own way. We're always all naturally influenced by what we're seeing and what we're hearing in the moment. So if your image looks a bit more like mine than you wish it would, don't worry about it. Keep doing them and you're going to find your own way and your own style and your own imagery. So in a moment, I'm going to flip the camera around, and then after that, I'm going to pop back in with you to talk to you about my new class that is opening up on September 20th. I'm trying to make sure I get those dates right. It opens on September 20th. Enrollment is already open, and I want to tell you a little bit about it because I'm so excited about it. In this class, we're going to be creating more self-portraits like this one, but they're portraits of our archetypes. So I'll see you after I talk to my self-portrait and tell you more about that. And then I encourage you to get yourself a journal, a piece of paper, and sit down and allow your self-portrait to talk to you a little bit. This can be difficult sometimes for people. So there's a number of different approaches, and I'm going to try and illustrate that to you as I talk to mine. All right, I'll be back in a sec. All right, here is my self-portrait as it stands right now. And there's so many things that happened. I also have a sheet of paper beside me so that I can write things down as I notice them, because it's important to write these things out. Now, what I do generally is just take some quick notes on a piece of paper, and then I get my journal and I really actually write about them. So I've got that over to the side. And one of the first things about this was I was really bothered by how dark this background got. I thought, oh, I had a beautiful background and I really mucked it up, but I knew enough to leave it be because it had something to say to me. So as I look at it right now, what I notice is this beautiful green poking through. And it's coming through, and not just the green, but the other colors as well. They're coming through in various places. And I have to tell you that I think that this is a reflection of what's been going on in my life. There have been a number of things that have kind of been distractions and challenges. And so they've kind of been, what's the word I'm looking for? Veiling my creative parts and my excitement. So I think that that is what that's about. So again, I thought that this was a mistake when I did it, but I let it be, and it's got something to say to me. There's also a lot of chaotic movement in here. So the creative part is very energized, and it's breaking through this gray cloud, even as I try to deal with all of the distractions. Let's see, what else do I see here? Another thing that I noticed when I looked at this, I didn't like these cheeks when I did them, and I almost covered them up. You may have noticed that in the video, although I cut out the discussion about it, but I almost covered these up because I thought, oh my gosh, it just looks so lollipop. But I'm really glad I left them, because how big the head is, how short the arm is, she looks very childlike to me. And I think what that means is that my creative side is very playful and very childlike. And that is true. And that is when I create my best art, is when I am in this childlike, creative, exploratory, non-judgmental place. So that's a big part of this. I love how this beautiful green that speaks to me of spring energy is popping through. These circles always represent to me the layers of myself. So in these layers, I have the green of spring and growing things in nature. I have the red of excitement. I have this softer yellow, which this feels like self-love to me. And I can connect to my higher self, which is all about self-love when I'm creating. So that's an important part of who I am in this moment as I create this class, this program for you. The blue was about water. And water has a number of different meanings for me. Water is calming and soothing. I had the great fortune of growing up in the summer times on a lake when I was a child. So I have a lot of associations around water and peacefulness and that sort of thing. But also in my studies of Eastern philosophies, the Tao is known as the watercourse way. And the idea here is that water flows around obstacles instead of bumping into it and trying to push things away. It just flows around. And water is also very strong. It is, over time, it will wear away the hardest stone. Okay, she's holding this lovely paintbrush, and this hand is a little bit wonky, but you know what? It's very expressive. And that is what this is all about. I think that hand, it's holding the brush loosely. It is expressive. The brush itself is a little wonky, which seems playful to me. The tip is about the aliveness of the spring green. If this seems a little chunky as I talk to you about it, I'm taking notes off to the side. I'm going to try and edit those pauses out so that it flows a little bit better and just to use your time better, but it might seem a little bit clunky. Again, this yellow that is sort of a higher self sort of thing. The sun here also was about the ball and playfulness when I first drew it, but it is that yellow again is the yellow of higher self, and it has layers around it, the same as the layers over here, or similar to them. The spring green, the incredible energy of nature bursting forth, the excitement of creating this program for you. These little patterns seem to be about interest. Her face, oh my goodness, this face is really something. It's, I usually don't go into this much detail with, blending colors or having different values of colors, as I spoke to you in the last video, but it's intriguing how this turned out. And this baby face is just something. She's got big full lips, which seem generous to me. She's neither smiling nor frowning. It doesn't seem to be, I think it's just about presence. This doesn't seem to be either like, giddy or sad. I think it's just present. The cheeks remind me of a child. The big nose, as I think of this, the nose is where we take in the aromas around us. So this is another organ of discernment and present moment awareness. If we stop and smell the roses, we are living in the present moment much more. The eyes are interesting. They seem to be very soulful to me. Isn't it remarkable what happens when you put those catch lights into eyes? They just come alive. Even the camera, when I take photos of these things, the camera recognizes these as a face. One eye seems to be looking towards me, a direct gaze. So I'm just looking at the things that I notice as I'm looking at this. Now, some people, I was going to talk to you about this before I started, but some people get almost have direct conversations with these beings here. Others of us, for me, it's about what I notice and then the story that comes up around that for me. Sometimes people have a hard time doing this, and if that's true for you, just look at this and make up a story about it, as if you were telling a story to a child. And that's going to be what this is telling you. It's all, however we access our intuition and our subconscious, it doesn't matter how we do it. It's just that we get there. And any of these ways get you there. You just have to find the one that works the best for you. So her direct gaze, it's not challenging. It seems to be soft and loving. This eye is looking a little bit more downward. And that, I think it's more introspective. And I think that this is true of being in the energy of our higher self. We are both lovingly engaging with our environment and with other people, and we are paying attention to what's happening within ourselves and with our processes at the same time. She has these dots here, I think, are about self-awareness as well, about turning our attention to the higher self. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar, is just if you close your eyes and take a deep breath, there's something inside of you that is larger than yourself. It's the part of you that notices that you're thinking. It's the part of you that, that can observe your thought processes. So that's what I mean by higher self, that thing that is larger than just you and your day-to-day life. We've got the pattern all over, so there's interest here. And now I'm just scanning this to see if there's anything else. Okay, so this hand does not seem like a child's hand to me. I think that my creative self is more mature when I'm painting. There's an insight. And I think that I am more mature when I am in touch with my creative self, because that is my higher self. This is how I communicate with my higher self, is through creativity and through painting. Okay, I like to rub my hands over them too. I feel like this is another way of kind of communicating and noticing. It helps my eye go everywhere and to notice what's happening. I really love the spot right here where the gesso is showing through. And it feels interesting. And if you're painting in a book like this and you paint both sides of a page, the pages have a really interesting feel to them too. They become substantial and very personal. It's like they're a extension of myself. So I have come to really love this book. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this process. I'm going to flip my camera angle around and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my upcoming class. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about my upcoming class, my class that is open for enrollment now. It's called Discovering Your Archetypes, A Woman's Intuitive Journey. It is based on the amazing work of Dominique Christina in her book, This is Woman's Work. She has done a lot of internal work and found descriptions of archetypes that are more female positive and more female oriented than Jung's archetypes. And I talked to you quite a bit about that, or more about that in the class. What we're going to do is there are 20 archetypes in this book, and we couldn't possibly do all of those in 4 weeks, but we're going to take the first 4 and we're going to paint 9 journal pages around these 4 archetypes. So it's an exploration of what these archetypes are, how they show up in your life. It's very specific to you, and that excites me, because we don't need people outside of ourselves telling us who and what we are. So this for me was a huge learning journey, and it was a really deep experience. And I'm really hoping that I have piqued your interest and that you will at least take a look at the information page and consider joining us. So there is a link to the information page in the email that you received on day 5. So take a look there. If you're looking at this on YouTube, I will have a link to that information page in the description down below. All right. Thanks so much. I hope that you really enjoyed this program as much as I did. I love seeing all of your work, and I hope to see you also in the class. Bye-bye.